Hi, Jimmy.
Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm dynamite. Thanks for taking the time. I'm recording right now, so we'll
Yeah,
just jump right into it if you don't mind. Um,
no problem.
yeah, so we're excited to talk about this Sunday's episode of Batwoman titled Black Girl Magic, featuring you, starring as Victor Zsasz. I saw the episode last night, and your introduction to the character in the cold open is pretty bonkers. And
Yeah,
right
yeah,
away,
it's pretty crazy.
yeah, right away in the first minutes, you're already setting the tone. I think how your character, your portrayal of Victor is different than past performances. Did you take anybody else's
hmm
performance into consideration or for inspiration in your performance of the character?
Yeah, definitely. A little bit. I was familiar with the biggest one that I was familiar with. Although I had played the Arkham Asylum video game, so I'd
Mm-hmm.
seen that performance in the video game. But the only other one that I think that I really uh, knew very much about was Anthony Kerrigan's, which I thought was just brilliant. And I'm such a big fan of his work. I think that he's a great actor. And I think the thing that I hope that I was able to keep that he did was sort of the playfulness of Victor Zsasz. There's kind of a little bit of a lightness and sense of humor that is such a great contrast to his violence. And so I I think that I could say that we have that in common. Um, my this Victor is a little bit further along in his career, I think, and I think that allows for him to be a little bit different in some ways. I think that he's, uh, you know, Batman's gone. Probably the really big fights are, are behind him in some ways, and so he's maybe a little bit more able to be a little more introspective. Doesn't have anything to prove, and but is still a master at what he does, which is murder people.
Yeah, his the lightness that you mentioned comes across to me
hmm
as more like arrogance, and
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool.
yeah, and like he already knows once he's sized you up once he looked at you, right, and he knows how
Yeah,
and if he's going to kill you. And um,
yeah.
were you? So you mentioned the video game. You weren't a big fan, or were you familiar with the source material in the comic books at all?
I didn't. I wasn't a big comic book person when I was growing up, so I think that my first familiarization with him was with the video game,
Hmm.
and then I remember the character from was it Dark Knight Rises, I think, but it was a very small kind of cameo in that film.
Right.
And so most of my research as it relates to the comic books happened after I got the role.
Hmm. Um, do you does your character Victor have a history with Kate, or can you say how he doesn't recognize that Ryan isn't the real Batwoman?
Um, well, what I can say is I think that Victor has his ear always has his ear to the ground, and I think he knows what's going on.
Hmm.
And I also think that it's interesting. I think that he's really perceptive about people. I think he kind of loves people and is curious about people, and so I think when he meets this Batwoman, he immediately he recognizes that she's new. He can tell certain things about her because he's perceptive. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that scene where you first meet Batwoman that where I was mentioning,
hmm
you kind of talking to her from behind the bar. You pour yourself a drink, and you've got kind of I would call it like a swarmy arrogance, similar to Tony Stark from behind that bar in the first Avengers movie,
Right.
right? Even the way it's shot kind of is similar to that scene in Avengers. Was there any intent to hint at Victor's past as a millionaire? Or
I think that's in there in the design. I had such a good time. The people who design the sets and place props and everything are so thoughtful about that stuff. Because I went around that apartment and I looked at every book that Victor owned, and looked at the what he had bought and his attention to style and all that kind of thing. And I definitely think that he does, because of his past, he appreciates fine things. I also think that he's broken with that enough that, like, I love that he plays Candy Crush on his phone or whatever that game is. That he's both like a little bit of a snob and also has sort of recognizes that it's meaningless too. There's a little bit of both in there.
Mm-hmm. You had a couple of a great exchange right there. I'm gonna paraphrase it, but where you were talking about Batwoman makes a crack about, at least I don't have to. I think use my skin as a knife sharpener, and you say something along the lines of, at least it's my skin, and I'm not trying to pass as somebody else. So you kind of give her the inspiration for the new Batsuit, right?
Yeah, maybe you could say that. I don't want to take too much credit for it, because I think that she's feeling that as well, that she's not comfortable. But I do think that Victor, I think that maybe she's a little surprised or taken back that Victor really sees her in that moment, and kind of calls her out on that. And I think that it's also, I think Victor sees the potential in her, because I don't know. This is not the writing or anything, but it's sort of just my opinion that I think that he kind of misses having a worthy adversary to lock horns with, and I think that he sees something in her that she could have something, but she's maybe not there yet. Right.
So he's longing for another Batman, another challenge.
I think so. I think Victor, it seems like he has, in some ways, he's a little bit obsessed with pain, with the cutting himself and everything. I think that he thinks that's the boldest flavor in the meal of life is pain. And I think that, it's sort of his messed up idea of love, too, that if he can find somebody who's capable of just destroying him, that he will have finally found the thing that'll make him feel total bliss or something,
Mm-hmm. You name dropped Batman. So you obviously have a pretty big history with Your character obviously has a history with Batman now that Batman's gone. In the show Bible in your actor's prep, is there any hint at any more on what that relationship might have been?
No, there's everything. It would be all the same things that you already know. We didn't have any conversations about that. That was just, there's the one line in the show that I don't know if it's still in or not, because I haven't seen the episode, but where he says, "I haven't been hit like that since Batman," So that was what I was going off of in terms of where Batman lives in my heart.
Right. Yeah, he has a noticeable reaction when he says that. He kind of got a little smirk as he's realizing he hasn't been hit like that. Yeah.
Right.
So your fate is a little open ended at the end of the show. Are we going to see? Can we expect more of Victor Zsasz this season?
I can't really say. The one thing with Victor, I think, is that you never know when he's going to pop up. He's extremely unpredictable. So I can't say when or if, but I hope there's a lot more for him.
Yeah, me too. You look like you're having a lot of fun with that role. On screen.
I had an absolute blast. It was a delight to play. I really, first of all, it was a delight just to sort of like return to a set, because most of us had been out of work for a long time because of the pandemic, and to get to come back with such a delicious, juicy role that's so fun and complicated. I had an absolute blast.
Yeah. And you're no stranger to Gotham. You played Sykes on the show Gotham, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of entrenched. You're no stranger to DC villains. If you could maybe time travel back to the 1966 Batman show, what villain would you like to play?
All right. Oh, great question. I guess the answer that's in my head right now is the Riddler. But there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun things to choose from. I definitely used to watch that show a lot. I love the Riddler though, and I think partly just because I was always into the clues and stuff. But I think that would be fun.
I just got a couple more for you. Victor Zsasz is a self-admitted sucker for lesbian drama. Do you have any comments about being on the first primetime show or anytime show featuring a lesbian superhero of color as the lead?
I couldn't be more proud to be associated with it. I think that it's really bold, and I think that the people that they've chosen to be representatives of those groups are absolutely incredibly talented and up to the job. I think that it's awesome.
Right on. What can you tell me about Ode to Psyche? When can we expect to see that?
Oh, man, I hope soon. It's a short film that I made almost 2 years ago now, and it has gotten hung up in the editing room in large part because of the pandemic. It's just gotten really slowed down, but I really believe in it. I've adapted it into an hour-long screenplay, which I am really hoping will go somewhere. It's sort of a sci-fi subject. It's about a young genius who is fluent in all these ancient languages. He's a college freshman, but he's riddled with social anxiety. He almost, can't be in public because he has such bad social anxiety. And he follows a flyer that is advertised for people who don't know how to be. And he finds himself in a very strange hipster doctor's office in remote Brooklyn with two scientists who offer him an elixir that they say can make him feel like himself for the first time.
Wow. And you write, direct, produce, correct?
That's right.
Nice.
That's right.
Good luck.
I have a lot of amazing actors in it. I think that it's going to be really cool, but it has not been easy to complete.
Yeah, you got a lot of irons in the fire on that one, right?
That's right.
A lot of balls in the air. Well,
but I appreciate you asking about it.
No, yeah, please let us know when that does come out. We'll look forward to it. My final query for you, my friend, Saturday mornings when you get up to watch cartoons as a kid, what was your favorite bowl of Saturday morning cereal?
Oh, at some point, I usually with my parents would let me get sugar cereal, Lucky Charms, for sure.
Nice. Okay, Alex, thanks, man, for your time. I know you got a lot of calls waiting. Is there anything I'm missing? Anything I didn't get to that you want to make sure I know about Victor Zsasz or your episode?
I don't think so. I appreciate all the thoughtful questions.
Okay, man. Well, thanks a lot. I'll look forward to your episode. Watch it again this Sunday, and do me a favor and enjoy the rest of your day.